Jonathan Peternell was a pastor's son, serving in the National Guard, aspiring to be a chaplain. His father, a prominent Indiana pastor, a man who built a church on preaching morality. But then, police found Jonathan's Snapchat.
But I do want to cooperate. I don't want to be uncooperative.
And what was on that phone was shocking, to say the least. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. All right, real quick, aren't we always looking for ways to earn a little extra cash these days, right? Well, our sponsor, Free Cash, is offering a $10 bonus with our link in the description. So with the Free Cash app, users earn money just by doing simple tasks like games or surveys. Look as I play this, okay? You can literally see the balance go up as I progress. Besides being so easy, Free Cash doesn't make you wait to hit some high amount to get your money. You can withdraw it at just $25 however you want. PayPal, Visa, gift cards. I'm even going to invite the other Law&Crime hosts to earn some more cash from referrals. They'll love it too. It has a 4.8 star Trustpilot rating right now. So click the link in the description or scan the QR code to try it out for free and get that $10 bonus. And the more offers you complete, the more you can earn. Pendleton, Indiana. It's a small town about 30 minutes northeast of Indianapolis. And inside a home on State Road 132, a young man named Jonathan Peternell had a plan. Join the National Guard, become a chaplain's assistant, maybe following his father's footsteps. His father, Nathan Peternell, is a well-known pastor in Indiana, apparently reportedly a mentor to the lieutenant governor himself, a man who built a church empire on preaching morality and family values and the Word of God. But when police knocked on their front door with a search warrant for his son's phone, everything changed. This was a shocker. They weren't looking for drugs. They weren't looking for weapons. They were reportedly looking for the worst thing a person can have on their phone. And they found it. Not just a few images, hundreds. Children, little girls, some tied up, some drugged, some appearing to be asleep while an adult man's hands moved over their bodies, videos of rape. But that is not all they found on that phone.
The child pornography images.
On Jonathan's?
Mm-hmm. And his Snapchat account.
This is body cam footage that we obtained. And what you just heard was a detective telling Jonathan's mother the horrific details of what they uncovered. But here's what you haven't seen. The father, sitting in a police van, apparently told detectives a different version of events. His son was reading his Bible every day, aspiring to be a chaplain, all while police were pulling evidence off his son's phone. So how did a pastor's son who knew right from wrong end up here? And what did his parents know? We are going to show you the body cam. We're going to read you what was on that phone. Incomprehensible, to say the least. So according to the arrest report in this case, Jonathan was 24 years old. He lived with his parents in Pendleton, Indiana. He was in the National Guard, working as a mechanic on Black Hawk helicopters. And as I mentioned before, he wanted to become a chaplain's assistant and studied theology at Indiana Wesleyan University, though he didn't graduate for reasons you'll seemingly hear about shortly in the body cam. But by the summer of 2025, Jonathan's parents believed he had turned a corner. His mother told the detective that Jonathan was in a good place, especially spiritually, and was feeling a calling to the ministry. Now, his father, who I mentioned before, Nathan Peternell, is someone in this story that you really need to know. I mentioned earlier he was a minister. He's the lead pastor of Life Church, a multi-campus church with locations in Fishers, Noblesville, Eagle Creek, Pendleton, Indiana. He's also apparently a mentor to Indiana's Lieutenant Governor, Micah Beckwith. That's according to reporting from the Indiana Citizen. And together, they even co-hosted a podcast called Jesus, Sex, and Politics. Maybe the name kind of gives it away, but it's a show where they talked about the things you're not supposed to bring up at, a Thanksgiving dinner. This is according to the show's description. And that podcast hasn't released a new episode since that search warrant was served. So when the Hamilton County Metro ICAC, Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, showed up at their home on the morning of September 10, 2025, it wasn't random. According to the arrest report, they had a cyber tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. You see, Snapchat had reported that someone had uploaded child sexual abuse material to their servers, and the IP address reportedly traced back to one home, the Peternell home. Per the report, what investigators found when they searched Jonathan's phone was horrible. more than 200 files of child sexual abuse material. Some of it was sadomasochistic. Some of it showed children who appeared drugged or intoxicated while being abused. Some of it was violent child molestation. Some of it was AI-generated images of nude, pregnant toddlers. But there was something else reportedly on that phone that I will tell you, I don't even know if it's worse. I don't even know how to describe this. But according to authorities, more than 50 photos and videos of Jonathan's own parents, nude, engaged in sex acts. So on the morning of September 10th, 2025, detectives knocked on this front door, and Nathan Peternell answered. They told him they had a search warrant, and they asked to speak to his son. What happened next was captured on that body cam.
Good morning.
Hey, can I help you?
Yes. I'm Detective Mitchell, Westfield Police Department.
Yeah.
Oh, you can come on too. We got a search warrant for the house. We're here to talk to you and your son. Is anybody else in the house?
His wife is in the house.
Okay.
I'm going to step in.
Yeah.
I'm going to step out here.
Okay.
You got it.
You can come over here.
Sure. Dog's okay?
Yeah.
Jonathan, you want to step out here, please?
Yes, keep him in here, Tyler.
Yeah, actually.
Is your mom upstairs? Step in here. Have a seat right there, if you will. Jonathan, right? What's mom's name? Christina. Wake up. Mom's upstairs. Going in for entry and clearing.
Yeah, Christina.
Anybody else in the house?
Just mom, right? Anyone else?
No, she's
No.
upstairs. Yeah.
Hey, Christina,
Please, we have a search warrant.
can we have you come down?
Could you come downstairs, please?
We'll explain how to get down here.
What's the dog's name?
Patton.
What is it?
Patton.
Patton.
You got a room upstairs or down here?
Upstairs, sir.
We'll get you a shirt real quick. Yeah, I probably just woke up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A detective sits down with Jonathan in the family's living room, and he explains that they work internet crimes, and that information came back to his address. And then he tells Jonathan exactly what that information is.
We show up in plain clothes to hopefully not look so obvious, make neighbors worry, and then we show up with a lot of people so we can hurry up, do our work, and then leave and get people back on their day. Part of what I do and what Jim does is we're part of a task force. You're probably wondering why there's a Westfield guy in your house, and I guess it makes sense for Jim to be here with the sheriff's office. But we work in a task force. We all work together. There's people from Greenfield, Carmel, Noblesville, Anderson, all over the place. And the one thing that we do is internet-related activity. And our end goal is to help people. And why we're here today is that there's been some information that came back to this address. So we don't know if it's coming back from you. I don't know if it's coming back from Dad, Mom. Does your sister live here?
No, not anymore. She's at college at Iowa.
Yeah. So that's what we're trying to determine today, and then get you guys back on your day. You see a gentleman walking in and out. They're doing the photos. They're doing all that. But me and Jim. That's all you got to worry about. Those guys will just do their thing. They'll be out of here. Okay. Does any of that make sense to you? I know you're a little shook up right now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So with that, part of our investigation led us back to this home, and we're trying to determine what that is. And without beating around the bush, a lot of this involves what I would call child pornography. And when I talk about child pornography, I'm not talking about, just you know, here's my niece in the bathtub in a bubble bath playing around. We're talking about kids engaged in sexual activity. So that led us back here today. And we're trying to figure out who it might be and how it got here. But ultimately, we're trying to skip past that and find that kid. So if we can find that kid, we can get that kid help. If that makes sense. For every video that's out there, that's a child being exploited by an adult somewhere else. So that's, obviously there's no kids in the home here. So determining how someone came across that video, we find out where they found it, how they got it, and then we can move on to find that kid. Does that make sense?
So the detective asks Jonathan a direct question. Has he ever come across this kind of material on the internet before? Jonathan's answer maybe isn't what the detective expected.
So, with that, has there been any times where you've come across any of that while on the internet or in the home?
I think that I'm supposed to talk to my attorney. We're friends with him.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you have an attorney locally?
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name's Ray Adler.
Okay.
I think I'm supposed to talk to him before I
I know, right?
just say a bunch of stuff.
No, I understand that completely. So with that, if you
But
want,
I do want to cooperate. I don't want to be uncooperative. But
well, if
yeah.
you want an attorney, then we can't have this conversation. Not like it's a punishment or anything, but that's your right. So if you want to speak to an attorney before we talk, then we'll just sit here today. We'll gather the electronic devices. I don't know if it's coming back to you or your dad, so people are going to be interviewing your dad as well, and we'll move from there.
Do you have a cell phone, Jonathan?
yes, sir.
Where's it at?
It's up in my room.
That's part of what we're doing here today, just to further explain. We're collecting electronic devices since this is all internet related. Something's happened from here, from some sort of a electronic device. So that's what we're here for. Obviously, we're here to talk to you and Dad, and you're, like I say, Tyler was, made sure you're crystal clear on that advisement of your rights, and so it sounds like you understand that, and we respect that, and that's we would never do anything to jeopardize that. But that's what we'll be doing here. We're going to collect devices and take those with us, and they'll be forensically analyzed, and then we'll move forward from there. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
The detective changes gears and asks Jonathan about school, about why he left, about what he does now, and Jonathan's answers paint a picture of a young man who knows exactly what bad influences look like.
No, I've been to other colleges, sir.
Where else?
Indiana Wesleyan University.
Oh, nice. What do you study there?
Theology.
Did you graduate from there, or just go?
No, I didn't graduate from there.
Okay. How long did you go there?
About a semester.
Just a semester? Or you said 5 semesters?
Just a semester.
Okay, gotcha. Did you like it up there?
I liked it. I had some bad friends, so I had to come back home and
Gotcha. What do you mean by that?
they were just bad influences.
Not to pry too much, but in what kind of, like, drinking, smoking, alcohol,
Just
drugs?
smoking.
Yeah.
The nicotine stuff too. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. That's not probably very accepted up there, is it? Or more so than what people probably think. Gotcha.
Basically the entire football team was like that.
I figured so.
Were you on his football team then?
No, but I hung out with the football team guys.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of guys who probably went there to play football was more about playing football than it was probably about studying, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of easy for it to slip into, being more of a Christian school and slip into a little bit of the party time and all that. First time away from home. That's understandable. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, I'm in the National Guard.
Okay. Okay. When do you drill?
This weekend?
You enlisted or an officer?
I'm enlisted.
Nice. Where do you drill at? Down Lawrence or Stunt Field or something?
In Shelbyville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think they fly out of there, don't they? Don't they run some helicopters out there or no?
Yeah. It's a Black Hawk unit.
Yeah.
I fix Blackhawks.
It probably takes a lot of skill, I'd imagine. Probably not something that's comparable to working on a Toyota.
I'm not gifted at it, so I had to study pretty hard.
Yeah. Well, that shows a lot of work ethic.
How long you been in the Guard?
4.5 years.
Oh, wow. You gonna re-enlist?
I was about to, yeah.
You got to change or what?
Well, yeah, I think I'm going to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I signed conditional release papers just separating me from the National Guard, so I'm trying to go active right now.
Nice. Here that can be a little difficult. I have friends who were Marine Reserves and they were trying to go active for years, and it was easier for them to get out and join the Army than it was to go active.
A different detective takes his mother outside, and that conversation starts with small talk about the search warrant. But then the detective asks her something personal.
You got a chance to read the warrant?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the last part was a little bit vague because he was done reading it and so.
Oh, you're just skimming
Yeah.
through it? Would you like to read through? I can
No,
get it for you.
It's okay.
Okay. Just so I don't forget it, I'm terrible with names unless I write it down. So I apologize. And I'm just going to be upfront with you. I'm not the detective that's working the case, so I have minimal knowledge of the case. But obviously, you're not a suspect in anything. So I'm not going to read you your rights unless you want me to. But I don't plan on getting into like great detail. Anything to that nature, we can talk as little or much, or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer what I can.
Yeah.
And then, so obviously the search warrant, we're here because we work off cyber tips, and there was a tip that came back. Are you aware of all that?
No.
Okay.
No, I know kind of what you do.
Okay.
But I didn't know they wouldn't tell us anything yet about
Okay.
tips or.
Yeah, so we received a cyber tip, and that's why we're here. It led us to the house.
So is this tip something like an anonymous person can?
No, it all comes from like social media. So I believe this was Snapchat. Snapchat is the one that reported it.
Okay.
So, do you guys use Snapchat?
I have Snapchat on my phone.
Okay.
I don't use it.
Gotcha.
I have used it in the past for photos, but.
Okay. I know they have great filters, right?
Yeah, but then it gets to a point where it's too filtered, and so it's just not you know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I don't like Snapchat. I think Snapchat it's pretty horrible, actually, for the intent that it was created for, and especially the younger generation.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. So have you been like a pastor in like your whole
Yeah.
life?
Well,
Or pretty
yeah,
much?
I was a pastor's kid, and then he was a pastor's kid.
Okay.
And then out of Bible college, we got married and became
Awesome.
pastors. So, yeah,
Very cool.
our whole lives.
Okay.
The detective asks about Jonathan's past, about whether there was ever an incident. His mother says no, not really, just something with a school computer, a false alarm, she says. But when the detective asks what kind of photographs, perhaps she seemingly admits to something.
So was there a a report. When was he a senior? When did he graduate?
Yeah. What was the year he graduated?
So he's in his 20s, right?
He's 20. Yeah, he's 24.
24. So, oh gosh, what are you, like 18? Was there a police report involving like an incident when he was in high school?
No, I don't think there was a police report because they questioned something and that it came back that it wasn't actually what they thought that it was.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? Do you know?
I don't know much about it.
Did Nathan handle that?
No, I was the one that actually talked with the officer, and it was like a false alarm kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did it involve... I only got bits and pieces of it.
It was that he had something, I think because it was a school computer, he had something that the wording came up questionable, and so they had to do they had to look into it, and it came back that it wasn't actually anything.
So there wasn't like any pictures or photographs that they found? Oh my god.
They didn't find anything that was alarming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I didn't read the report. It just got mentioned, so...
Yeah. No, they didn't find anything that was actually... There was something that was questioned, but then after the investigation, they said there wasn't anything that was...
Okay. Was it like nude photographs?
Yeah, he had some nude photographs on his computer, on his school computer,
Okay.
which he wasn't supposed to have.
Yeah.
And the detective asks about that time in Jonathan's life, the school computer incident, and his mother tells him what was really going on.
There was a season, teenagers get, but there was a season where he was, neither one of us were very close to him because he was a little bit of a rebel, but during that season, but they're really very close now. We're all very close now.
Good.
Yeah.
Was that during the incident with the school computer?
That was just during that season, he was hanging out with some guys that were not great influence on him, and he was, vaping and just didn't really care about school, so it was not the easiest season.
Oh, I'm sure.
But his heart is in a good place now, and he's...
So at this point, the detective stops circling and asks the question that all roads are leading towards.
Does he have access to children at all?
No, as far as ministering to them.
Or do you guys have little nieces and nephews or anything?
We have nieces that live in Minneapolis.
Not local.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Why do you ask that?
Just because of the stuff that was in his count. So we just always ask. I'm sure they've always asked, or already asked, but I was just following up, just because I don't know what other people have talked about.
So you've found things?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why we're here. It was in the cyber tip.
So I knew that there was a tip, but I didn't know.
The child pornography images.
On Jonathan's?
Mm-hmm. And his Snapchat account.
Is there a way to tell when that was, or?
Yes. It's not my case, so I don't know that information. The case detective has all that information.
But there was definitely pictures.
There was. And since it's not my case, and I'm sure it's stuff off the internet. I'm not saying like it's from someone like in your house. He's sought out and took pictures up. So I'm not saying anything like that. But yes, there was definitely photos of child pornography in his Snapchat account. That came back to him.
That came back to him.
To his account, yes. So that is why we're here today. I know, it's not easy to digest or anything, so not easy to hear. So like when we do work these cases and there are the images, that's why I say like the little breadcrumbs. So like when we're able to talk to people that have those images in their account, like we want to know where they came from. Like, did you, like whoever has them, like did you seek them out? Did someone send them to you? Do you know who these children are? So that way we kind of have to like work backwards to be able to try to find these kids that are being exploited. And obviously, I know you know how important it is because you said you guys help.
Absolutely know how important it is.
From there, then a lieutenant walks over to the car, and he's got news about what happens next. So since Jonathan requested a lawyer earlier, look what happens. Look what this means.
All right, I'm Doug. I'm the lieutenant over the unit. So I talked to the case detective. Since your son has requested a lawyer and not want to speak what's going on, we can't narrow down exactly what devices that this stuff is going to be on. So we're going to have to take everything, which includes your phone and your laptop. So we have to take them back and make sure there's no child pornography on any of the devices.
Wow. Okay. How long will you have them?
It depends how quick we can get into them. So I can't give you a time frame. Sometimes it could be a week, sometimes it could be months, so I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
I can try to get yours and your husband's phones processed first, but I can't guarantee how quick it'll be.
Yeah, but that's how we do all of our work.
I understand. So you can shut off service and get another one until these are done, but that's the best I can offer you right now. I can't. I have to go to search warrant. We're taking all the electronic devices.
You did give the passcode, so that is a plus. So that should speed things up a lot quicker. Because if we don't have passcodes, then we have to hook it up to a machine and like brute force, and that can take a long time to go through like all the different combinations. So
let's go back to Nathan. Let's go back to the father here, okay? He ends up in a van with two detectives. They explain the warrant, and then he asks a question.
So, this gentleman, I forget what he said his name was.
Seth.
He had mentioned that it would be, we would find out what this tip was, what is this about?
Yep. So as you start reading through here, you can tell it's all kind of technology based, right? So what we do is we do internet crimes. That's what we investigate. So the majority of our scope of our investigation involves technology, such as computers, cell phones, tablets, anything that can kind of touch the internet. At the same time, we also will look at anything that can store, digital cameras that can store material and so forth on it. So it sounds like you're a photographer for a living.
I am, yeah. Well, a part-time photographer, yeah.
We're probably not interested really in your camera. We'll look at it real fast just to make sure that there's nothing illegal on there that pertains to this investigation, but nothing that we probably need to take back with us today. So what we do, we'll come out, we're going to have a discussion with Nathan this morning. And Jonathan, I'm sorry. We're going to have you're Nathan, right? Yeah, sorry. We're going to have a discussion with Jonathan, kind of about what led us here and why this investigation is taking place and why we have a warrant. And it's just to get a better understanding, because the internet is a very large place. There's a lot of stuff that takes place on there. And there's a lot of different dark avenues you can go down. So the investigator, Tyler, who's on this warrant, he's going to talk to him about that stuff and try to get us a better idea of why he's here. Is there a passcode to it?
There is. The only thing I'm just thinking about is that should I call my lawyer and have him here? And I know that I want to do everything I can. Yeah. Please understand. I want to do everything I can to help you. And also I'm thinking about my family right now. So just is that if I say yes to my phone today, I'll have my phone, and if I have my lawyer come, then just you're going to take the phone anyway for days, if I understand that correctly.
So the detective lays out the options. Give up the passcodes, let them preview the phones now, or lose these devices for weeks, months. Now Nathan seemingly hesitates, and what he says next kind of reveals something about maybe how he sees the people sitting across from him.
So if you have your phone, we're able to go through it today and say, okay, there's no evidence pertaining to this crime on there. We know you're not involved in this. We're able to quickly turn around and give that back to you, because we call that basically an on-scene preview of your device. Okay, we don't have any of our digital forensic guys with us today, so that requires me to then seize that phone, put it in the property, which we do have our crime lab here to collect any evidence. They'll take it back, they'll enter it in the Fisher's property. It'll then just go into our regular chain of, hey, this is evidence that needs to be examined. And when they get time to get to it, when it hits that, they have other cases besides this, they will then pull it, hook it up to the equipment, and that could take, depending on how many photos and how much storage you currently have on there, it could take 24 to 48 hours to get into. Then they create a case, they look at it, and then we determine whether or not the phone can be returned back to you. So
I am losing my phone today.
If we end up having to take it with us, yes. Otherwise, if you provide that consent to look at it here on scene, and what you're telling me is truthful, then we can more likely get that back to you. Is that your understanding?
Yeah. Certainly we have some links to what connects to the internet and this investigation, and as long as we don't see any of those links into your phone or device or apps or anything like that, we likely relinquish the phone to you, but we can't promise that to you 100%.
Sure.
Because we're going to be looking at other devices in the house, and if we can't find those links in any of the devices, and we're just not really sure, who's connected to it and which devices are connected to it, we might still have to take all the devices to get them back for our digital forensics to do like a full dump. I want to be honest with you and kind of make you aware of all the factors and things we have to consider in all of this. But whether or not you want to give your passcode, that is up to you. I certainly understand your desire and thoughts about consulting with your attorney first. and we can go down that road as well. There are some kind of investigative case-specific things and questions we'd like to ask you about. In order to do that, we're going to have to read your rights.
Which is potentially arrested today?
No.
Okay.
I don't think anyone is going to be arrested here today, regardless of what we find or what we hear.
Okay.
But because we have to ask you some investigative specific questions, we need to make you aware of your rights, and you need to decide whether or not you want to speak to us or consult with an attorney. Since I've already broached it, let's jump into that, just so we don't have to have any more concern. All right. So I'll just do this. This is a statement of rights for our task force. I'm gonna read to you, and I'll show it to you, and you can look at it and make a decision on what you want to do. Before we ask you any questions, it is my duty to advise you of your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court or other proceedings. You have the right to consult an attorney before making any statements or answering any questions. You have the right to have an attorney present with you during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you before any questioning if you wish. If you decide to answer questions now, you still have the right to stop answering questions at any time or stop the questioning for the purposes of consulting with an attorney. All right? So that's your statement of rights form. If you'd like to look at it, and then there is a waiver section that is down below it. If you'd like to speak with us, we can go through the waiver portion of it. One of the things that this waiver section includes is this sentence here about I was taken into custody. You are not being taken into custody. You're part of, because you live here and this is the location where we're doing the search warrant and you have electronic devices on this property, yes, you're part of this investigation. You're being detained. You're sitting in the back of a police van with two police officers. You're being detained. You're not being arrested. I don't anticipate that anyone's going to get arrested today outright. We're here to collect evidence and to see if we can obtain statements. That's sort of the primary goal of today's operation. Are you interested in considering the waiver route and speaking with us?
Man, I want to, but I just dealt with stuff recently where at my church where we're mandatory reporters for certain things, right?
Yeah.
And so I have certain of my employees that they have police officers that just they found out police officers can lie to them, and I don't think any of us ever knew that. And so we were instructed by our lawyer just to say, I'm happy to help you. I want to help you, but I'm happy to do that through my lawyer, Raymond Adler. And I feel like that's what he would tell me to say right now. It's not that I don't want to help you in any way, but he said sometimes we as citizens are just we're too honest, and it ends up getting us in trouble. So I'm not. That's the only thing I have. Okay, a little bit of a thing I totally understand.
The detective then brings this back to the potential victims in this case, the ones in the videos, and he says they need to eliminate Nathan and his wife as suspects.
I used to work for DCS back in the day, years ago. I could tell you, it's not a common practice. While in some interviewing, you will find that lies get told. We're not here to deceive you. The facts, what we have that already led us here today, are the facts, and we don't need to, give you any disillusion or mislead you in any direction. Again, we have an ultimate goal of getting to the kid at the end of the road. This is a small step in that progress. We have to kind of understand you're not the primary focus of our investigation, but again, you are part of the household. The utilities are in your name. Phones and so forth are in your name. So yes, you're encompassed in all this. The lead investigator is obviously talking to your son, and that is where the focus of the investigation is. But we do have to do our due diligence. We have to eliminate you as a suspect. We do have to eliminate your wife as a suspect. We do have to be thorough and go through devices, including, your wife's camera and any other photography equipment she may have, or videography. So just understand that we are going to do our job. We are going to be thorough and go through an investigation as I think anybody would expect us to do. And that does require us, you being dad, you being the homeowner, you having utilities, you having a cell phone, for us to ask you specific questions. Our practice isn't to lie. There's no need for us to do that. I don't need to mislead you with the questions I'm asking you. We're just going to be straightforward, and we're going to ask you, questions as far as, if you've ever had any concerns and that sort of stuff around your son's internet usage and that nature. So you have plenty of time to consult. We'll be here a while, so if you want to think this over and think about whether or not you want to ask any questions, or if you want to let us ask you questions, obviously it's part of your rights is that you have the right to stop answering questions anytime. So understand that we can have that discussion, and if at some point you're like, I don't like that question, or I don't feel comfortable answering it, you can invoke your rights. Does that make sense? Yeah. So
The detective then asked Nathan about Jonathan's past, right? About the school computer incident that we've been talking about whether he ever saw anything concerning on his son's phone. And Nathan seemingly starts to answer, but then appears to stop.
This is going to be a tough question to ask. I don't mean to offend anybody. I don't mean to upset you, okay? Has he ever been victimized, or has he ever been in a situation where he's been a victim of any type of sex crime?
Not to our knowledge.
Okay. All right. The only reason I throw that out there is that, in this line of work that we do, sometimes we see that being a correlation.
I would imagine that's
and so, we want to make sure that if there's some type of trauma there, that we address that the appropriate way, as well as we go through this process. So that was just a question, not to accuse anybody or say anything there.
We've asked that question as parents a number of times. It's our worst nightmare that something would happen to your kids.
Yeah.
But the only story that Jonathan's ever told us is 15 years ago when we left. 15 years ago when we left a different church, that he said that there was a woman who kissed him on the lips when he was 9.
Okay.
And that's all we know of.
Okay.
Right? I can't remember whether he told us that she kind of touched him over his clothes or something like that. We didn't find out about it until years later.
Okay.
We tried to ask him to recollect anything that could have happened, and he couldn't recollect anything.
Okay.
It was just one of those odd stories that didn't really make a lot of sense.
Sure. Yeah.
But we don't know of anything. We're not aware of anything that. And I've asked him a dozen times.
Have you ever, jumped on a device or saw him on his phone or computer looking at material that you thought was questionable? Like, obviously, pornography is typically not a big thing in Christian households to be looking at, but have you ever discovered anything that you're like, hey, that seems off, or maybe there's something of concern here?
There would definitely be things that I saw on his phone that were of great concern to me.
That you saw?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we talking about children? Are we talking about adults?
Pornography, it's not if your kid sees pornography, it's when your kid sees pornography.
Right.
And so I mean, the very first time that I saw stuff that was super concerning to me was yeah, I mean, he was 10 years old, 11 years old.
Okay.
So, there was definitely concerning things that I saw, that it was, you put up passwords, you try to stop stuff from happening.
Right.
But you can't stop everything from them getting to it, even with password protected stuff in many cases. So there were places where you pray a lot and you try to counsel your kid away from things.
Right.
So if there was, there's stuff that breaks your heart, so you counsel them away from it. But as to the content of what I saw and got rid of, if you don't mind, I'd just like to have my lawyer present.
Yeah, that's fine.
The detective tells Nathan that without Jonathan's cooperation, they're going to have to take every device in this house. Nathan's phone, his wife's computer, everything. Nathan doesn't argue. Instead, he tells the detective about the son that he claims to know now.
Jonathan's our primary suspect. We have to continue to look at everybody equally until we can disprove that. And without being able to have those conversations with him today, that's going to require us to take those devices, okay? So I know we spoke earlier about hoping to get your phone, your wife's phone back to you and stuff like that. That won't happen. So.
No, I can only say that I'm sorry that this even has to happen.
Yeah. Again, he is young. He's got, no criminal history or anything like that. So I hope that whatever comes of this is kind of that aha moment for him, and kind of something has happened in the past that he gets the proper help for that. It's in his hands and what he wants to do. So.
Yeah, Jonathan is in a place right now. Just when you see that your kid is trying to make a change in their life and they're repentant for what they've done, then you, that's a better place to be spiritually speaking, right? You're trying to just make sure, are you done with that old way of life? Jonathan is probably right now in a place where he is as repentant and moving away from that as I am aware of. And you wait a long time as a parent, hoping that day comes. So that's really where he is right now,
Yeah.
The kid he's in the Bible every day. He wants to be he wants to be a military chaplain, or be a chaplain's assistant. He's trying to change his MOS. He's trying to put himself in the right place. So, if there's things that have followed him, I don't know how long all of this takes. I imagine it takes a while to get it all together before you get to this point, but I think he's in a different place in his head and in his heart. So I know that probably doesn't mean it. I mean, you guys, your job is just to enforce the law, and I understand that.
So that's what the body cam captured. Shows a lot, but I will also tell you, it only shows the surface. What the officers actually found on Jonathan's phone is in the arrest report, and it is why this case is different. Detective Tyler Mitchell filed his affidavit, a sworn statement, on October 15, 2025 regarding the cyber tip that was traced back to this family home. And I mentioned, per the report, that when detectives searched Jonathan's phone, they found more than 200 files. Some of it was material the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children had already flagged. Some of it showed children who appeared to be drugged. Some of it was violent. Some of it was AI generated, photorealistic images of children who don't exist. And there was apparently something else. I mentioned this before. Reportedly more than 50 photos and videos of Jonathan's own parents, nude, engaged in sex acts. And the chat logs appeared to show Jonathan live in a Snapchat group called Diddy Disciples. And in one conversation, he sent a video, or appeared to send a video, to another user and then wrote, I just like looking at this S from time to time. According to a press release that was issued by the Fishers Police Department, Jonathan Peternell was arrested on October 23, 2025. He was charged with child exploitation and multiple counts of possession of child sexual abuse material. He did not post bond. He remained in custody throughout the entirety of the court proceedings. As for his father, Nathan Peternell, he was never charged, but weeks after his son's arrest, the church district reviewed his conduct, and according to reporting from 24/7 News, Nathan sent an email to congregants that the outlet says it reviewed, reading in part, "After a careful and thorough review, the district executive presbytery concluded that certain personal behaviors related to my use and retention of private digital content involving my spouse fell short of the standards expected of a credentialed minister and were determined to be unbecoming of ministerial leadership. With grace and a heart towards restoration, I have been invited to enter a structured restorative process. Beginning March 1st, I will step into that process under the guidance of the Indiana District leadership. The outcome moving forward is this. In the short term, I will focus fully on this season of restoration. In the long term, the plan is for me to remain the lead pastor of Life Church as I walk through and complete the restorative process." Although I do have to make this clear, Nathan kept his job and he was never charged with a crime, okay? He was never been implicated in official wrongdoing. But now comes the question. What does a judge do with this young man, this pastor's son, who had seemingly everything, family, future, faith, and apparently threw it all away for all of this? So according to court records, in January of 2026, Jonathan Peternell pleaded guilty to 1 count of child exploitation. This is a level 4 felony, and 3 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material. That plea agreement left the sentence up to the judge with one condition. The maximum he could receive was 6 years. So on February 13, 2026, Judge Mark Dudley handed down his decision. And according to reporting from the Indiana Citizen, before sentencing, Jonathan spoke. He said he was deeply sorry. He said he hated his sin. He looked at his parents and said, the outlet reports, "I'm sorry for putting you in this humiliating situation. You've been dishonored. Your wonderful reputations have been ruined. Your names have been dragged through the mud, all because I cared about myself more than you." And then the judge spoke. Judge Dudley said he had handled many similar cases, told Jonathan, per the Indiana Citizen, "Certainly I've sentenced a fair number of people that have committed offenses similar to this, and on a spectrum, you're not on the worst end. But egregious behavior is egregious behavior. You just happen to be on the lower end of that spectrum." He said he was not convinced Jonathan posed no risk of reoffending, talked about the broader impact of child exploitation offenses, telling Jonathan, "You alluded to it, but what you do affects what other people do and has them exploit minors. That's pretty darn serious, and my sentencing reflects that." And then he handed down the maximum allowed under the plea agreement, 6 years, 4 years in the Indiana Department of Correction, and 2 years suspended to probation, and also lifetime registration as a sex offender. That's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and as always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you should get your podcasts. You can also check us out on NBC's Peacock as well. If you want to follow me, X, Instagram, my News Nation show, Jesse Weber Live, Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you next time, everybody.